human capital is one major asset. The second is, as you said, the research findings. What else would you say?
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure, yes. So you have good labs. You also have a hospital where you can do readily research. So you have a real-time translatable. Sorry? Practical.
Farms. We have farms.
You have farms, yes.
Then we have linkage
with
other institutions abroad.
Oh right, okay. Other universities and development. Correct. You have your fisheries department and NRDC and so on. Okay, so that, yes, those are absolutely essential assets. Yes. Would you say a brand is an asset?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, of course.
It's
Yes.
a brand.
So your industry will not mind coming and working in Tanvas because it has a good brand. So you have looked at various assets. Now, after you look at all these assets, let us look at the prioritization. We also have one more step. We said research findings, but are there any specific areas of competency that you have in Tanvas?
Core areas.
Sorry?
Core areas.
Core areas, yes. What are the specific areas of research that Tanvas is known for?
But actually,
Diagnostics
clinics they
and
have
vaccines.
one here.
Clinics they have, sorry?
Diagnostics and
Diagnostics and
vaccines.
Diagnostics and vaccines for livestock, okay. Biotechnology, feed, minerals,
New varieties.
mineral mixtures.
New varieties of weeds, strains.
Okay, new variety. So that would that be hybridization or would it be
There is
biotechnology?
two types. One is applied and is basic.
Okay. So these are also your assets, isn't it? Because over a period of time you have gained competency in these areas. So these are also your assets. Now the next step is prioritizing, deciding which areas you will want to work in. So companies like Pfizer, what they do is they don't want to get into research at the basic phase. At the bench level, at the first level, a drug may be a drug's value when they discover the first API, active ingredient of that pharmaceutical composition. It is 1% of the entire value of that drug. So at that point, they don't risk much. They endow universities to do that. So they go into Duke University for cancer, they go to Sandwich University for heart diseases, like that. So they have different universities where they endow. Here, if you are able to prioritize and say Tanvas will prioritize these areas, feed, diagnostics, nutrient mixtures, then you get a specific kind of students who come in, at least at the master and doctoral level. They say that if they want to research on aquaculture, they will come here. But if they want to research on pollution control or whatever affects animals, they will not come here. So that is one way of doing it. Next is protection. Now this protection does not only mean filing patents. Please understand. Protection of IP is done in various ways. One of the first most essential ways is to maintain what is called the inventor's log. I'm sure you have researchers' log books. You have books where you write down your notes.
Yes.
Now, in IP, there is a specific document called an inventor's log or an inventor's notebook, which is a legal document, which is the only document which can prove that the invention was made by you. Your lab notebooks will not do. Whatever you write in your lab notebooks are open to others to see. Unless it is designated as an IP inventor's notebook and it is maintained in certain particular ways with protocols and who is seeing it and who has witnessed it and who has validated it and so on, then it becomes a legal document that you can take to court. If your competitor is saying that I invented it. Apart from that, you have brand, you have trademark, you have design registration. I don't know if design works here, but design registration is a strong component in many devices, for instance, many things that you have that you use. Maybe you developed a new form of injection, a new needle, or a new veterinary device. So those will have elements of design. Then comes valuation. It is very essential to value your invention. As inventors, if you leave the valuation to the university, your value goes down. So your value and the value of your invention depends on what is the existing alternative for that in the market. It depends on how much time and money and energy and infrastructure has gone into it. But that is the basic goal. What it is saving for the industry is another way of value. If you invent something, like Madam has invented some nutrient for shrimp or medicine for shrimp, now that will save the industry so much money. Isn't that the value of the medicine? Apart from that, the monopoly value of that. For 20 years, you're going to make a huge hefty profit on it. So that is also valuation. And then comes monetization, which we exhaustively discussed during the process. So this is what I was talking about. Of course, confidentiality we discussed, NDA, NCA, and non-circumvention. What I want to do is, right. So the barriers to monetization, we already looked at that. It's difficult to negotiate, and there is a risk in the funder getting into it. But at the same time, if you have a unique and blockbuster invention, then it is best to monetize it at the earliest. Because as time passes in a research institution, it may get diluted, and more people may find it effective to take bits and pieces away and make their own inventions around them. Just to give you an idea of what we do in work like this, apart from giving IP and business strategy advice to various clients, we also help in technology sourcing and transfer. We also do what is called transaction IP, which is essentially what you did. It was transacting business over IP, and IT due diligence, which is saying whether this IP is protected well and whether it has been invented and maintained by the person who claims it for himself. So I think we'll have about a 5-minute discussion. This is my email if you need to contact me. My phone number is also there. I'll send you this.
My leg is not there. Change the color.
Oh, it's in black.